Hi, everyone, and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. This is a love reading for the sign of Gemini for the month of February. I've shuffled the deck. I've pulled your cards. If you're watching for Gemini, reverse the roles because in this specific reading, it'll feel as though I'm speaking to you about your Gemini. So you're starting off your reading with the 10 of Pentacles in reverse for the bottom of your deck. And as I'm looking at this, it seems like there was a situation that you walked away from because it became such a burden. There's a lot of disappointment around whatever this love situation was. Let's see if I can get some more information about that. Okay, so I feel like you probably gave whoever this is more than one try. Because what I'm seeing with the Seven of Wands, it looks like you stood your ground and you set a boundary for this person. It seems as though they could never connect to what your expectation was. And what I'm seeing here is the expectation really wasn't much. So that's kind of sad on their part. It looks like this person, if they would have come into your life or come back into your life and been somebody who honored the connection or really gave it like a real try instead of just kind of half-stepping or half-assing their part, you would have been open to some sort of negotiation with this person. I think there was a time, it looks like, where perhaps they did say something along the lines of like, I've made a mistake. I'd like to try this again. Maybe they told you that they felt a really deep connection to you, or that they felt like you made life make sense for them, or they were happy when you were around. If that happened and you opened yourself up to that person again, it looks like that just caused you a lot of disappointment and frustration. And that's where you ended up moving away from this person. So this is somebody that you definitely gave more than one chance to, is what I'm seeing here. It looks like there's a possibility that this person either didn't take you serious when you pulled back. And so it's almost like this kind of cat and mouse energy where they wanted you to chase after them, or they just felt like you needed some space and eventually you would miss them so much that you would like decide that everything that you wanted wasn't as important as you had initially said that it was. Almost as though you would rather have that person in your space than have what you want. Which what I'm seeing here is you really just wanted like reciprocity, respect, stability, maybe even to build a better friendship with this person, because I'm seeing cards of like passion and I'm also seeing emotion, but I'm not seeing anything like communication as far as stability, right? There's a lot of wands here. There's a lot of time probably spent in the past, but not as much communicating about like, where can this go? What does this look like in the future? What are you bringing into my life like permanently, right? So I'm seeing that this person, it's almost like they try to call your bluff is what this looks like. So you, in the second time or the third time, whatever time this is, that it looks like you were open to maybe speaking to this person or kind of like feeling them out, seeing where they were, and then they played games with that. It feels like maybe you showed up different than they're used to, because you stood on business, right? You haven't come after this person is what I'm seeing. And at the bottom of the deck with this 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, it almost looks like maybe they went and did something else as like a final incentive for you to like get moving, because this is somebody that I see they weren't taking a lot of action towards you at the time. They were hoping that you would pick up the slack. And when you didn't do that, it's almost like they upped the ante by paying attention to someone else is what I'm seeing here. Whereas with you, you were just like, okay, there's nothing that I can do about their decision. I just have to become the best version of myself that I can be. And a lot of you is what this looks like to me is that you took a step back from actually dating, or you were just like really focused on working on yourself. Some of you may have started businesses. I don't feel like you were really spending time with family. If you were spending time with family, it seems like maybe you realized that that just wasn't it for you. Maybe for some of you that were spending time with family, you started to feel as though you needed to put that energy into yourself, because I'm seeing you working on this like really big glow up, but it's almost as though you haven't presented it to the world yet. So that's what I'm seeing for the past. Looking into your spread going into the month, you're in the Two of Swords in the reverse. So it feels like a few things. What I'm seeing here is that you have been like separated from, I don't want to say like society, but it's almost kind of like in this hermit mode. I don't think it was because you were waiting for this person to come back, but I feel like if this person would have come back in the time frame that you were just working on yourself, you may have been more open to communicating with them. But what this looks like to me now is that you've gotten into a space of like, I've worked on myself as much as I can, and it's time for this phase of my life to be over. It's time for me to go back out in the world. And what I think about you, Geminis, with what I'm seeing here is that you don't have a problem attracting a partner. I think you'll meet somebody very soon because it's almost like you know that about yourself. Like as soon as you go back out in the world, people are going to start talking to you and inviting you places, or you'll start dating, right? So there's kind of this energy of you starting the month, you feeling like the part of your life where you've been secluded or working on yourself is over. And it's time for you to start participating more in the world or with other people. There's a little bit of a hesitancy here, but I don't think it's coming from you because I see you being very like intuitive about your decisions. This is making me feel like whoever is coming up in this reading that we talked about at the bottom of the deck, they are also picking up on the like time frame and how long it's been that it's time for you to start getting out in the world. And so I feel like that's where this feeling is coming from, where I'm feeling like anxiety or anticipation. This person, oddly enough, is coming to the realization that you will never come after them. And I feel like that's starting to fuel what I'm seeing throughout this spread as well. So what's coming towards you for the month, you've got the Four of Cups. This opportunity, it's something that you've seen before, right? It's something that it's not going to look as good to you now as it would have perhaps if you would have gotten it 3 months ago, or maybe even 3 years ago for some of you. It feels like there's this sudden, almost like emotional expression, but it's not enough of what you need to hear. And I think that probably is because this is like so far gone that at this point, if somebody was like, hey, I was thinking of you, well, they may not even have the right number or they might be blocked. But more than anything, it feels so watered down, like it's not enough, especially because the work that you've done on yourself, it's like this person's best would not be enough at this point in your life. And so I am seeing that there's a possibility that the person that I saw in the bottom of the deck would try to say something to get you like in your feelings or to get some sort of emotional reaction out of you. But I'm seeing you not rushing to acknowledge this person's existence, right? There's this energy of you being like, okay, and what? You know, maybe you leave them on red. Maybe you don't even open the message is what this is looking like to me. Because it's so far past the time they should have spoken to you, right? Three of Swords in the reverse coming out for how this is going to affect you. So what's interesting to me is like, even though you're not into this anymore, you have maybe like a set of principles where you feel like this is like meriting a discussion with this person, right? There's an energy of like, you know how it feels to not get closure. And so some of you may feel as though eventually, after a period of ignoring this person, making them wait, you would be open to having a discussion with them. It seems like this person probably would like to speak to you because it feels like they would be the ones to make the effort, right? I'm also seeing that it feels like, I don't want to trigger you, but this kind of puts you back into hermit mode when this person does what they do. It's like you were ready to go out, you're ready to meet new people, And then bam, this shows up. And there's kind of the feeling of like, oh my God, is this what I'm manifesting? Maybe I need to work on myself more. Maybe I need to go back in the house because I finally got to a point where I'm ready to go out and to meet new people or start a new relationship. And then all of a sudden I see that I missed a text from this person that I didn't even expect to hear from, but also I know how toxic they are, right? So maybe just be mindful of that, because I could see this putting you backwards, or putting you in your head about your decision to go out and to meet new people. You've got 8 of Wands coming out for what you want to do about this. So I feel like there's 2 things here. Part of you wants to respond and to talk to this person to see what's been up with them, or kind of like what their excuse is now. But I feel like that's only to a point. Like, you're very quick to move away from this person. This isn't something that you want to suddenly like put all this work into. It's like, maybe if you can explain yourself, I'll hear you out when I get to the point that I'm even ready to talk about this. But if you say even the smallest thing, I'm going to block you. I'm going to put an end to this conversation because I'm so far past this. I can't afford to get hung up on this again. It's not worth my energy, right? When I'm looking at your next card, you have an opportunity, Queen of Swords. This is you, right? So you have an opportunity to really set your boundaries, speak your piece with this person. And for some of you, you feel like that's what you need, is to just cut this whole situation, because it seems like whoever this is has a tendency to either like ghost or do the slow fade. And if you've made the decision to do something for yourself that's different than this, you're going to want to deal with this before you go out in the world. Like, that's just the kind of person you are, where you don't want this person popping up after you've met like Mrs. or Mr. Right. You want this person to know exactly where they stand in your life, what kind of space they need to be giving you, how much a part of your life they will get to be. And so you have an opportunity to convey that this month. Your obstacle, though, is the Ace of Pentacles. And the hard part is, with this 10 of Pentacles in the bottom, it's showing me that what was always missing was like that solid foundation, or for it to look like it could start going down that road. And it seems like that might be what happens here, is that this person gives you some sort of like emotional message and you're just like, I'm going to ignore this until I can't ignore it anymore. And then I'm going to tell them exactly where they can get off. And then this person might say something like, well, you've been there for me so much. I hope that we can be friends. And that's the piece that you're like, wow, that's what's been missing. And that might sound really good to you, or it might feel like this person has spent a lot of time thinking about the way they treated you, right? So that's going to be your obstacle, because the one thing that it feels like you needed to hear for so long, you may finally hear it. It's not going to hit the same as it would have all that time ago, but you're not going to be able to ignore the fact that, yes, this is the thing that was missing, right? Something to consider, 5 of Wands in the reverse. So this is kind of a big one, because if you've been like sequestered in your space, this is the last thing you know, or this is like the longest thing you know, or the biggest thing you know, but there's a whole world out there, right? This is not the only person for you. There's a lot of you who are in a twin flame dynamic with what I'm seeing here. And so you're like, okay, this is my other half. But, you know, about that, if they can't get on your level, if they're not willing to get to where you're at, this may not be the life that happens, right? And that's okay. Not every twin flame relationship is a relationship that results in union. Sometimes it's just growth. You know, sometimes you're just 2 ships passing in the night, and then you get what you need from that person and you level up. And this lifetime, it's a soulmate thing, right? And so that's the thing, is like, this could feel good if you wanted to revisit this, but also you don't know what else is out there because you haven't really been putting yourself out there, right? In your mind, you may feel like nobody compares to this person, but also like ask yourself honestly, have you met all the people there are to meet, right? Have you been active in your community? Have you been pursuing hobbies or interests that you have? Have you let people fix you up on dates or whatever, right? This is going to tug at your heartstrings because it's familiar and it was a deep connection at one point. But when I'm looking at your advice, you actually got the devil, right? So this person probably still has other people in their life. It would be really good for you to ascertain what they've been doing in the time that they've been like ignoring you or silent. And also, is this a situation that would set you back? Because I'm seeing a lot of internal conflict for you when it took you so long to finally get into a space where you felt comfortable to do something new, right? So I'm going to pull you an oracle card, and then I'm going to take this over to the extended reading. In the extended reading, I'm going to look at this person and I'm going to see how they really feel for you. I'm going to take a look at why they feel the way they do, what they're planning to do about it. So future actions. I'm looking at their hopes, their fears, what they are keeping from you or not telling you. I'm going to look at some advice on what you can do about this. And then I'm going to pull 2 more cards just to see if you take the advice, what will happen. And if you don't take the advice, what will happen? Because as always, you have free will. And I am simply a tarot card reader, right? You're going to have to make those choices for yourself. So you got criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are. And your relationship will magically transform. Bottom of the deck, surrender. At times we must surrender the old before something new can enter our lives. Let go and all will work out. So stay tuned for the extended reading preview. It's coming up after this. Link to that is in the description box below. Bye. Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me for the February Gemini love reading. So Gemini, I have shuffled your deck. I've pulled your cards. And let me tell you, this person is being super sneaky. So let's get into it. I'm going to take a look at the bottom of the deck first. You got High Priestess finishing this out. This is somebody who they saw when you put your foot down, right? And you wanted what you wanted. They saw that they would have to give that to you or that you wouldn't budge. And that really freaked this person out. So what I'm seeing here is that they ended up putting on their best outfit and getting their hair done and going out and pretty much finding someone that they didn't care about. Whoever this is that it looks like they've been dealing with is somebody who's really immature. It's also somebody who was like either just gotten out of a relationship or had all this trauma that they were still like allowing to navigate their show. And they came into this person's life and acted like they were like the best thing ever. This person didn't really have a lot going for them or going on with them. And they were super insecure about themselves. So they thought your person was like God's gift, okay? They don't, I don't think they ever really cared about whoever this was. They viewed them as a rebound. But in doing whatever they did with this person, it's like they gave them what they should have given you, is what this is looking like to me. Now, what's interesting is this is ending on Ace of Swords, High Priestess. So they had a revelation about a secret that was being kept from them. It doesn't specify what the secret is, so I'm going to pull a smaller tarot card. Okay, so whoever this is that they found, that was kind of this weird, sad, leechy person, they poured a bunch into this person, probably to try to make you look jealous or to make them feel less rejected by you. This person that they've been dealing with is